Leaders led by Member of Parliament-elect William Ruto appealed to all Kenyans to remain calm and observe peace as the country continues to witness the electoral violence across the country.
We have said very clearly and loudly that we want a peaceful nation. We are asking Kenyans, wherever they are across the country, that we want to protest against what happened to us in this country, but we want to do it peacefully. We abhor any acts of violence. We ask Kenyans to shun and to avoid any acts of violence, any acts of looting, any acts of destruction of property, which is unnecessary. We are telling our people across the country that burning property, destroying life, engaging in acts of violence is actually against the democracy we are fighting for. We want every Kenyan to be heard, to participate in freedom of association and freedom of expression, but within the limits of peace.
I'm grateful. But witness, do you remember being shown this video by the prosecution when you met them last year?
Yes.
And let me read to you what you said about that video and the words that you have just uttered. And it's page 28 of your statement, paragraph 139. You said this, witness: if he, meaning Mr. Ruto, was sincere, he could have just asked them to stop and the violence would have ended. To understand his set of mind, listen carefully to his statement at 0038 to 0053. Quote, to avoid any act of violence, any act of looting, any act of destruction which is unnecessary. This implies, this is what you say about it, this implies that his people can cause deaths and destruction of properties when it is necessary. He could have just asked them to stop the violence without mentioning the necessity. No violence is necessary. I was also telling you that Ruto was in charge of Rift Valley. You can see on this video he is talking as an elect member of Eldoret North and as leader of the Rift Valley, and there is no one else from the Pentagon with him. Do you remember saying that, witness?
Yes, I do.
And am I right that one of the reasons you thought he was talking as a elect member of Eldoret North was because nobody else from the Pentagon was with him? Is that right? You say this: you can see on this video that he is talking as an elect MP of Eldoret North and leader of the Rift Valley, and there is no one else from the Pentagon with him. So my question is it because nobody else from the Pentagon was with him that you also thought he was speaking as a constituency leader of Eldoret North? Is that right?
Because it was addressing the people.
Yes. And because he was addressing the people, in what capacity, according to you? As a member of Parliament of Eldoret North, correct?
As an elected member of the Parliament.
And the reason you thought in your statement that he was talking as an elect MP of Eldoret North and not in a wider capacity was because nobody else from the Pentagon was with him. Is that right?
That's not right.
Why did you add this at the end of your sentence? And please explain it to us. He was talking as an elect MP of Eldoret North and leader of the Rift Valley, and there is no one else from the Pentagon with him.
Mr. Ruto could have just advised people to stop violence, because that found when people have died even within Eldoret area, where the church was set to ablaze and around 35 to 40 people had lost their life, and the violence was still on.
Witness, did you attend that press conference?
No.
You say Ruto was alone. Was he alone in that press conference?
Because it was a video played to me, and that is what was brought before me.
Fair enough. Let me play the video so you can actually see who was present and in what capacity Mr. Ruto was speaking. And I'd ask to play Ken-D09-0020-0010. And if you could watch that, witness, and I'll have some questions for you once it's finished.
Supporters desist from acts of violence.
We abhor any acts of violence. We ask Kenyans to shun and to avoid any acts of violence, any acts of looting, any acts of destruction of property, which is unnecessary.
So we would like to see peace. Nobody should try to attack members of a particular ethnic community on account of how they voted.
Raila says although his party has genuine complaints over the manner in which the just concluded polls were conducted, his team was willing to dialogue with his rivals.
Yes, if it could be put back, I think. At 0:35 seconds. I'd be grateful. At 0:35 seconds.
Raila says although his party has genuine complaints.
Yes. And witness, you can see the people on the screen, correct? On the table.
Yes.
Can you see Raila Odinga in the brown jacket in the middle?
Yes.
Can you see Musalia Mudavadi?
Yes.
Can you see Charity Gilu in the pink on the right as you're watching the screen? Can you see that?
But the figure is not clear.
Can you identify that the man in the jeans and the sweatshirt bending over, that's William Ruto, or can you not tell?
Yes.
And can you see on the extreme right, just half a face, unfortunately, that's Mr. Koski? Can you say that is correct or not?
From who?
On the extreme right, that's Henry Koski. Then next to next to William Ruto in the sweatshirt and the blue jeans. Can you recognize him or not, William Ruto?
There is a face which has been cut.
And we can keep playing it. I'll move on if you can't tell too clearly. If it can be played again, I'd be grateful.
Can this thing be played in slow motion? The reason I say it is if we can get roll it frame by frame. The witness said he could not clearly identify the person you mentioned, Charity Ngilu, I believe. I don't know.
If it's possible, it'd be an excellent idea, Your Honor. I'd be grateful. And if that technical facility is available, I'd ask that we go back and then... Yes.
The court officer, Your Honor, we would have to test that because this would be a first. We would have to try to see whether that is possible. Otherwise, we could do a test during the break, determine whether it is possible, and then play it after the break.
Let's give it a try. Let's give it a try. See.
And if we could go back perhaps to, once again to 35 seconds, even 34 seconds, and then try it. Even from 30 seconds, it may be not a bad idea.
Mr. Khan, I understand that there may be a challenging task at the moment, so let's move on. Perhaps why don't we then roll it normally again to see if there's a point in which you'd like to freeze frame.
Grateful. So if we could start again, and similarly the witness can be asked to pay close attention, and if the witness can identify either Mr. Koski or Mr. Ruto or Charity Ngilu, if he could say so, as it rolls again from the start. Do you follow, Mr. Witness, what we're asking?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Supporters desist from acts of violence.
We abhor any acts of violence. We ask Kenyans to shun and to avoid any acts of violence, any acts of looting, any acts of destruction of property, which is unnecessary.
So we would like to see peace. Nobody should try to attack members of a particular ethnic community on account of how they voted.
Raila says although his party has genuine complaints over the manner in which the just concluded polls were conducted, his team was willing to dialogue with his rivals.
Tuko tayari kuzungumza kuleta suluhisho kwa mzozo.
Witness, did you see just a couple of seconds ago a clearer shot?
Yes, I've seen that.
And could you identify William Ruto and Charity Ngilu?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, if it could be run to the end, and I'm grateful for the court's assistance.
So you want the play to continue?
Just to continue to the end, I'd be grateful.
Huu. Lakini sharti yetu ni ya kwamba Rais Kibaki kwanza atambue na aseme kinagaubaga ya kwamba anajua alishindwa kwa uchaguzi huu, yeye hakushinda. Akishakubali, basi sisi tuko tayari kuzungumza na yeye.
He disclosed that he had been in touch with the British Premier Gordon Brown over the state of affairs in the country.
Tunataka kuwe mna mpatanishi ambaye atatoka nje ya nchi yetu hapa.
Your Honors, the reason I rise is, for obvious reasons, what we're hearing now is a completely different language. I wonder if there's any questions going to be posed on what's being shown now, rather than just listen to. I don't know if there's a translation also being referred to.
Well, let us see what the Defense Counsel does with it.
I'm grateful. And Your Honor, the key bit is who's there at the moment. And of course, Kenya has Swahili as the official language. English is also spoken. So at most events, of course, the official language of Swahili is spoken, and also English for non-Swahili speakers.
So let's keep playing the tape then. Counsel, tell us when you're done with this. When
I will, Mr. President.
Pardon me?
I will.
All right.
Ambaye ni mtu atakuwa mtu wa stani, ndio hapo sisi tutaweka masharti yetu juu ya upatanishi.
We are telling our people across the country that burning property, destroying life, engaging in acts of violence is actually against the democracy we are fighting for.
At the same time, the party wants...
Mr. Witness, after hearing more of the tape, more of the recording, and seeing the context with all the other Pentagon members present, including Raila Odinga and the others, are you willing to reassess your assessment that, and agree with me, that Mr. William Ruto was, like Raila Odinga, calling for peace in Kenya? Do you agree with me now, after watching the full video that was not shown to you before?
Yes.
Your Honour, I'm grateful, and with that, I would ask that if the courts are minded, it may be a convenient time to break, and I'll move to a new topic after the break.
Fair enough. Before we do that, just so the record is clear, in the course of our discussion about what you wanted to do with the tape, you said, just for those who were there, I take it it's more than that for you. The value of the video isn't just about the people who were present, but also the words that Mr. Ruto had spoken on the occasion.
Indeed. And Your Honour, I'd also ask that the videos be given an exhibit number at the court's pleasure.
So it will be prosecution. Any objection?
No objection.
The video will be marked as the next in the series of exhibits for the Ruto defense.
The court officer. Your Honor, the video which was shown, KEND 0900200010, public document, will be given the following reference number, EVD TZ090034, and shall be known as Exhibit 33 from the Ruto defense team.
The record will so reflect.
And Your Honour, also the first video that was shown to the witness in his interview with the prosecution in September, which is Ken-OTP-0028-0055, file 08, that was also shown. I'd also ask that that be given an exhibit number.
Isn't it the same video?
Your Honour, the portion shown to him that's referred to in his statement that was the subject to my first questioning is that portion alone. The second exhibit is the larger portion, and both are relevant, of course, to the questions I've put regarding the witness's understanding and the account he gave to the prosecution in September. So, Your Honour, I would ask that, for clarity, it may be good to have both extracts given separate evidence numbers, albeit that they are related. The larger one includes the smaller, indeed.
Fair enough. The prosecution, any objection to that?
The same applies, no objection.
The shorter extract, as counsel has referred to, will also be admitted as the next in the Ruto defense exhibit.
The court officer, yes, Your Honor. KENOTP 00080055, File 8, public document, will be given the following number, EVDT D09-00035, and will be known as Exhibit number 35 from the Ruto defense team.
The court record will so reflect, and that will bring us to the end of the morning session. We will take our break now for 30 minutes, and then we'll come back. Sorry, it's now less. It should be less than 30 minutes. We'll come back at 11:30. But we will bring down the blinds first and escort the witness out of the courtroom, and then the court will rise.